Getting ready. And I'm live. Hey, we did it. My camera's being a bit naughty this morning. A bit wibbly wobbly. There's things not going right. It must be the angle of my camera. Good morning, my darlings. How the heck are you? Oh, and I forgot my light. Yikes. Now we're cooking. Ah, ever had one of those days, girls? Did you ever have one of those days? I am trying to paste something into the chat. Don't know if it works. I can't see it working. See if that works. Doesn't look like I can paste things in the chat. Good morning, Mary. How are you? Well, hello there. I'm having a little bit of trying to set things up, kind of hoo-ha this morning. I'm trying to put something in the chat and it doesn't want to let me. There you go. So I finally got in the chat. Now I don't know what to do with that bit that's come up, which is all about emojis. Hopefully that will scarper in a second. No, I don't know what to do with that. Anyway, girls, let's not try and fret about it. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you are well, my loves. I hope you are well. It is my weekly YouTube Live. Let's chat about stuff. Let's ask questions. Let's see where life is at today. So whether you are joining me and you're busy doing housework, cleaning up, doing the laundry, trying to get your kids sorted. It's school holidays here in Australia. Or whether you're having a really tough day and you're just holding it together, you are in the right place. The space every Thursday is here for you. We're here to answer your questions, help and guide you in whatever stuff is going on in your life right now. I want to let you know that in this space, you can ask me anything. Everybody is welcome here. Please be respectful. That's the only thing I'd say. And of course, be mindful of the trolls. Because the trolls come and now I have to be very quick to get them. My computer's doing something weird and I'm nervous, but I'm just going to try and ignore it as best I can. So say hello to me. Let me know where you are from in the world. I know you're busy. You probably got a lot of stuff to do, a lot of juggling to do. But this is where we take our 10 seconds. Everybody's worth 10 seconds, right? And we just take some really lovely deep breaths and check in with ourselves today. A deep breath in and a deep breath out. Another one and out. And let's just check in and see where we're at today. It's helpful to have a measuring stick on a daily basis, sometimes many times a day, to go, how am I going? How am I coping? How's life treating me today? And I use 0 out of 10 because it's easy. 0 is life is a bag of poop and I'm not having a good time at all. And of course, we have the other end of the spectrum. I'm 10, I'm gold. Life is really, really good. And so check in with yourself and see where you are at this moment, in this week, in this day. And let me know in the comments. And I still can't get that to work, so I'm going to try not to be distracted by it. So for me, yesterday, I would probably say I was at a 4. It was a bit of a day. This morning, I've woken up a bit more positive, feeling a bit more at ease with things. So I'm happy about that. So let me know in the comments how you're going. Hi, Mary and Beverly and Sarah. Hey, Kathy, how you going? Good morning, darling. Hey, Kate. So good morning. Good to see that you are all at various stages, some below 5, some above 5. This is always a good place to check in and just see where you're at and reflect where you are. So for me, this week has been interesting. Do I not say that every week? I think I say that every week. Do you reckon I'm repetitive, girls? Let me know in the comments. There's been a lot of wrapping up for me. This is October. 10 months into this year, we are through the most of this year already. In some countries, you're getting prepared to celebrate, Halloween and Thanksgiving, and we don't do that much over here in Australia. But, these are holidays that are key markers in your calendar. For me, we're in October and it tells me that the year is beginning to wrap up, which on one hand really feels quite nice. I'm quite grateful that the year is wrapping up. I really am. It's been a challenging year. I'm trying to do something and it's not. There we go. See if that works. I'm trying to pin a comment. Look at me getting all in the weeds about the bloody YouTubes. I can't make it work. So sorry, ladies. I'm so distracted with this Technology is not my thing. I'm just saying. So this year for me has been a bit of a challenge. There's been a lot of churn, and I think that is not unusual. You tell me, how was your year? I know some countries are really, really, really in places that they have never been before, struggling ways they've never struggled before, trying really hard to manage things that are way out of their own control, and that can feel just too much to bear sometimes. So I get it. For me, I'm now coming out of what has been challenging into this new chapter. I'm not in the new chapter. I'm just, all the end pieces have stopped being end frayed edges, and they are now feel completed, which feels good. But endings don't just free us up, do you know what I mean? They take something out of us. Even good endings take energy from us. And I'm noticing this really challenging lack of motivation, which used to say to me, you're being lazy, push through, you need to keep going. And now I see this lack of motivation as a change in season, emotional season for me, that there has to be this space in between this hard, challenging, difficult struggle. And I can't just step into joy and happiness and everything being different. There's a time in the middle where I've kind of got to catch my breath. I've got to catch my breath and go, hang on a second, where our bodies and our minds just need a pause and a moment to recalibrate, a moment to just take a deep breath and go, yep, okay, that is coming to an end. And, that can be in so many ways. When relationships end, we don't just bounce back. When a crisis hits, whether it's a health issue or a financial issue or an issue with one of our children or a job problem, we don't just bounce back. We tend to have to work hard. And then when we've worked really hard to get through that thing, we then have a time of just needing to recalibrate and slow things down and catch our breath again. And that's really important. I wonder for you, because this is a space that's a community for all of us, right? And I consider myself as part of this community. Yesterday, when things were really not feeling so good, I had clients that I was seeing, and it just reminded me how important my work is to me and how much purpose it brings to my life and how it helps me feel quite grounded in some of the hardest parts of my life, because it's a space where I go, in this space, there is community and connection and kindness and support and love. And in this space, there is a lack of judgment and cruelty and hurtfulness and deliberate harm. And so it's a really beautiful space. Do you know what I mean? It's an important space, and I'm part of this community. So when I step into this community, I get to experience that as well, which just feels freaking delicious. So thank you all. I really appreciate all of you. I wonder for you guys, have you noticed that when something comes to an end, even if it was a good thing, even if you made the best decision, even if it's a great outcome, that you feel a bit more tired than you do excited, that there's just a sense of, gosh, that was a lot. And I wonder, how do you treat yourself in those moments? Are you the sort of person who just keeps on pushing through, keeps on going, keeps exhausting yourself? Or do you pause and go, you know what, I need to just slow this pace right down. I need to take care of the very next right step for me. I need to be gentle with myself and compassionate with myself and kind with myself. I need to give myself grace so that I can just have some space to move through this in a more comfortable way. So let me know in the comments. I would love to know. And what sort of things help you when you're in that space of feeling exhausted to get back into motion again, to restart and start doing the things that you need to do to get to the very next thing. So let's see what people are saying. Mary, you got your flowers redone and my handyman's painted 63 tubs. How many tubs? 63 tubs. That's a lot of tubs, Mary. And good for you. I love the garden so much. Yep, Sarah, I hear you. It has been a very challenging year. Beverly, it's stressful and rubbish. Yep, absolutely horrible. And do you see what I mean? Like, look at the words. And that language matters to me, as anybody who knows me knows. Language really matters to me. And I think, when I read those words, I think, okay, the language matters. When we go through stressful things, how do we manage them? When we go through harmful things, how do we manage them? When we are in opposition to somebody else, how do we manage it? And yeah, creativity is a great thing to do, Beverly. It really is. Doing something that it feeds us, whether that's going for a walk or doing, for me, gardening, or you see some of my freshly picked flowers this morning. Maybe it's painting something or drawing something or cooking something. And there's my light. It's got my light gone. That's my temporary light just dropped down. I've got stuff going on at my house, and so I am attempting to block out a lot of the sun, and my shade has just literally dropped. I'm in the process of getting my blind put back up because my windows were taken out, and now I'm flooded with light again. It's okay, we're getting there. So yeah, forgive the actual flooded light that just came in that made me more in shadow. I'm trying to adjust my glasses. So, you know what I mean? I think, slowing down, being gentle, being kind, and just giving ourselves grace in challenging moments. So if anybody's got any questions for me, anybody wants to ask me anything, please do go ahead. For those who are new to my channel, my name is Debbie Carberry. I am a university-trained therapist and relationship coach. I work online, and I have moved my online work to YouTube, which is just a new thing. When I say new, it's 7 months this month, but it feels really new still. I'm learning the ropes. So if you're new here and you're just on my video wondering what the heck this is about, this is my weekly chat where we just chat about life, and I answer questions if people have them. Anybody is welcome here who is just being respectful and kind, and you can ask me anything about anything, and I will do my very best to answer you. Please hit the subscribe button. It costs you nothing, but it really helps me out and helps my channel get seen by other women. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when my videos come out. I do a long form video every Tuesday and every Friday. One at the present time is about affairs, and the other one is about coming out of a long-term relationship. I will be doing other series when those are finished, and every single day I post just a short form video to sort of get people interested in what I'm talking about. And on Sundays, I share a poem that I've written. I wrote quite a few poems yesterday because I was feeling melancholy, and it tends to work for me when I'm feeling melancholy to write. So I wrote a number of poems yesterday, so I will be recording those and getting some video put behind them and put them up on my channel. So if you haven't seen any of those things, I encourage you to go to the playlist at the top of my channel. In the playlist, I try and put the long form videos together so you can watch them like you would a Netflix series, although I can't claim they're anything like a Netflix series, but they're informational and hopefully helpful to you. I've got a little shop too. If you want to go have a look at that, please do go and have a look. So I think that's all of the stuff I'm supposed to say about YouTube and welcoming you to my channel. My sincere hope is that in time we will get more and more people join us for these live chats. That's what I'm sincerely hoping. But on YouTube, things do not go quickly. They go quite gently, quite slowly, and I have to be patient, and I'm learning that. So it's really important for me to be patient with myself, which again, as I said, can be challenging because I'm not the most patient person in the world. I hate to say it, but it's true. All right, what's going on in the chat? Let me have a quick look. You're doing both, but more slowing lately. Good idea. Always pushing through threw myself into work. Now my health is crap, have to slow down. Yeah. And again, throwing ourselves in, listen to the language. Maybe we saunter in gently, especially for recovering from, being sick for a while, or we have some compromising health issues where we need to slow down. We can't go 100 miles an hour. We've got to kind of accept that, unfortunately, even if we want to, it's not possible right now to do all the things we want to do. So, my darlings, let's see what else is going on. I'm trying to accept that family relationships will never show the kind of support and love that you would like. Are there any ways to help with that? Do you know, there are. That's the first thing. I think, and it's really interesting. I think in our culture historically, I think that we have been quite forgiving of our families. We have accepted that our families are just people like us. We have accepted that our families sometimes stuff things up. We've accepted that people are flawed, and we've kind of accepted that. I think in recent times we have stopped accepting that. I think the younger generation have expectations on mums and dads and grandparents and other people that are a bit unhelpful, leave very little space or capacity for kindness, and the expectation is to be perfect. And I think this medium, the internet, has really caused that. For me, because I have gone through some of this myself, as you know, Sarah, for me, I had to really get to a place where, well, with my parents, you know, I come from a traumatic history. My parents lacked capacity. My mum, particularly, who was a very traumatized woman, did not have the capacity to love me. She didn't have the capacity to love herself. She didn't have the capacity to love me. She was in survival mode her whole life, and there was no space for love. And I used to tell myself that that was because I wasn't lovable. And what I've learned since then is I am very lovable. And unfortunately, my mum didn't have capacity. So the first thing I had to learn in my life was just because people don't love you doesn't mean you're not lovable. Just because people don't support you doesn't mean you're not worthy of support. It just means the people you're asking may not be the right people to ask, and you may need to go outside of those people to get your needs met. And for me personally, that's meant that you know, I've had to find other ways to get those things, and to remind myself that it's okay. It's okay that family can't do it, because the world is full of beautiful, kind, generous, loving human beings who are willing to come and be with you, and that's really important. With my kids, as some of you know, there's been issues where I'm estranged from one of my children, and I have a very tenuous relationship with another child. I've got 4 kids; they're all grown-ups. And yeah, you know, it is easy to move to the space of, but I love them though. I care about them though. I want them in my life, and they don't want me in their life. And that is painful. That is I had to go through years of getting peaceful with that and reminding myself, as I did with my parents, that the fact that they don't love me back doesn't mean I'm not lovable. Doesn't mean I did anything wrong. And trust me, I have made mistakes. I don't deny that for 1 second. But I remind myself that, yes, of course I have. Every human on this earthly plane has made mistakes. Every human on this earthly plane has had moments that they go, gosh, I would like a do-over of that. And people who love us and care about us will give us grace for those things. And people who don't, won't. And our job then is to go, that's okay. It's okay. This is their journey. This is their life. They get to choose how they do this. I don't get to choose how they do it. I get to choose how I do it. They come back into my life, I'd welcome them with open arms, boundaried, but with open arms. And that, you know, that's what it's for me is a really important lesson in this lifetime, when I'm watching around me the estrangement of so many people, and people not having capacity to be there for us or do something that we hoped or expected. And so I remind myself, you know what? It's really important. The love that I need and the support that I need is still there. Where will I go? Who will I ask to help me? Who will I ask to love me when those people say, I don't want to or I can't? What will I do then? What I'm never going to do is I am never, ever, ever going to tell myself it's because I'm not lovable. It's because of me that I'm wrong. I'm happy to sit with anybody and talk to them, but I'm also happy to stand my ground and say, you know, this is who I am. And flawed as I am still a lovable, worthy, good enough human being. And so I think that helps, Sarah. I think it really is important to be able to go, I need to stop asking people who cannot or will not give me that. And I need to accept that unfortunately they can't or they won't. And that's not about my worthiness. That's their choice. And now I need to go ask somebody who is willing, who does want, who does care. That's what I need to do next. And that's not easy, by the way. It's taken me years to get to this point. Trust me, there was a lot of grief for me for a long period of time. But I've come to accept that this is just the way it is. And it might change, who knows? And it might not, who knows? But as I do with everything, and you would know this, Sarah, in this moment, in the present moment, Like I have this day, I have this moment, I have today. It's a warm day. Yesterday was not warm, and the days before have been very warm. You know, summer's coming at 1,000 miles an hour, and I have this moment. The sun is shining. It's a fresh new day. I feel a bit more energized, which means that hopefully I will get all that writing I have to do done, because my favorite thing to do is write. It's not. That's not the truth. My favorite thing to do is not writing. But I got 3/4 of the way through my Heartbreak to Healing series and went, yikes, I'm going to have to start again. This is not landing. And I've recorded some of it and I've put it out, and I'm like, the disappointment of going, I have to start again, not because somebody told me to, but because I choose to. And again, I go, today this is something I would like to do today. So that's what I do. I go in this moment. What's directly in front of me in the present moment? And how am I going to navigate that thing? And these other things are in the background, kind of dancing along. They're dancing along with, other things that are going on in my life. And I try and make space for each thing. I'm not talking to one of my children. I haven't seen one of my children for a long time. He's an adult. And I make space for that. My daughter's unwell at the moment, and I make space for that. My neighbours are away on holiday, where I normally see their little people, and I'm making space for the space that I had made space for them because they're not here. My garden is in full swing because we went from winter to summer almost, and I make space for that. And people I love are not there, and I make space for it. And there's been health issues, and I make space for it. And there's been endings, and I make space for it. And I think it's not narrowing our view when things get hard. It's widening our view when things get hard. It's not focusing only on X. It's about making space for X with A, B, C, D, F, N, O, L, M, and making space for it. How do I create space for another thing to come in? What am I going to do to create space? I love my family, whoever they think or feel, whatever they think or feel. Yeah. And I think that's I love too. I agree with you. Love isn't something I can turn on and off. Love is just like a flow for me. I have a lot of love to give and share. And I hope that people, when I share it with them, they receive it in the manner that which it's being offered. And maybe it is, maybe it's not. I don't know. I just know that this is who I am and where I'm at, and that's okay. It's okay for me to do what I do in the way that I do it, as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. Kate, I get that. I notice that if I expect others to give what I do, I feel disappointed. Then this makes me rethink the subject of self-care. And I think that raises another really important issue, Kate, which is an expectation is a resentment waiting to happen. This is stolen from the the addiction field. That's said in addiction fields a lot. And it is that when we have an expectation of anything, a person doesn't have to, an organization doesn't have to, the universe doesn't have to do anything. And if we expect something, sometimes we are left really, really resentful because they didn't do it. We invite. And if people say no to us, it isn't that the thing we need is gone. It's that we now have to find another source of help, or another person to share with, or another person to support us or care for us. We don't just stop. We then need to move to, okay, how am I going to get this need met? So it's about, what do I do now? Not that I give up, but I go, okay, what am I going to do next? That's really important. So if you've got a question, please do pop it in the comments for me. I'm more than happy to answer it. If you're new here, welcome. It's so good to have you join us. Please do let me know in the comments if you're new. I always try and see a person's name or their picture, which helps me remember who you are. Like I said, this is a community. Most of the women here I know and have known for some time. So that always makes me feel really joyful that you come and join me. You decide to come and join me every week. So do let me know in the comments. And of course, if you've been here a long time, it's so good to have you join me again today. Beverly, I think I've learned that I expected too much. Only I can love me truly. I'm learning not to rely on others for this. And I think that's another a really important point, right? Is if you imagine you're a bucket and your bucket gets filled and now you feel loved. Fantastic. That's what we all really want. We all want to feel loved. That's part of the human condition. For some of us, for whatever reason, maybe we had a traumatic history like me, maybe we have attachment issues like me, maybe there is some other experience in our life that has meant that our bucket has holes in it. And some of the holes in our buckets are tiny little holes that water just drips out of slowly. And if you're me, I didn't have a bottom in my bucket. So no amount of inputs actually helped me feel lovable and worthy enough and lovable enough, because the hole in my bucket was a trauma and an attachment and issue. And so my bucket had a hole in the bottom that filled the entire bottom of the bucket. And so I had an insatiable need to feel loved. And I outsourced that to other people. When people loved me, I felt lovable. When people didn't love me, I didn't feel lovable. And so I had to learn how to build a bottom to my bucket and to try and fill in any holes as best I could. My bucket still has holes in it, but they are teeny tiny holes that drip, 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 drip. And I know that self-care fills my bucket to the top. And if I'm lucky, which I am, oftentimes overflows. So there's more than enough. It's really important to remember that we are responsible for our own buckets. Yes, somebody handed us a bucket. In my case, a bucket with no bottom. But now is my job. It's my job to repair the bucket, fix the bucket, waterproof the bucket. That's my job. My job is my responsibility for me to love myself, care for myself, take care of myself. My job is to do those things. My job is to make sure that I show up for me, that I learn, about how to, if I don't know how to. Some of us were never taught self-love. Some of us were never taught self-care or self-compassion or self-respect. And if we weren't taught those things, we need to learn how. So we're going to have to learn. That's part of repairing our bucket. That's giving ourselves the grace. Maybe we stick glue on the holes in our buckets or sellotape, to try and stop them leaking while we learn. But it's our responsibility. And once we start to repair our bucket and the inputs are big enough, we start to feel like we are worthy and lovable enough. Guess what happens then? Then it's easier to repair your bucket. It gets faster and faster because you're like, right, I could do this and I could do that and this might work. And then we build resilience and tenacity. And those things are incredibly important because that's the fabric that keeps us held up. When life's just pounding us, the world is on fire right now, and it does feel like the world is pounding us. And I think this is a time for unity and kindness and love. Self-love first, and then being kind and generous to other people. We don't have to agree. We don't have to be on the same page. We don't have to have the same values, but we can be kind and compassionate. We can cheer for each other. Even if we disagree, we can do that. I think about my neighborhood. It always comes, I try and get really sort of granular when life gets hard. I think about the person I speak to in the supermarket or the postie who comes to my house. And my partner always calls him by his name and always takes a moment to ask him about his day and how he's going. And you know what? The postie asks back. This builds relationship between people. People walk in my street on the weekend once again. This happens regularly in my house, which is a bit unusual. I've never experienced this before. That people who live on my street is a one-way street. It's quite a long street, but it's a one-way street, and I'm at the top of the street. And a couple pulled in on my street and opened their window. I thought they were going to ask me for directions, and instead they were like, I really like your deck. And I was like, oh, thank you, that's really kind. And they were asking lots of questions. And I said, why don't you come up the driveway and I'll show you. You can come and have a look if you like. And then we had this gorgeous exchange with each other. Again, how kind it is to just pause and be kind, because we can. And I think that is really important. And that fills my bucket. A stranger who I don't know, I may never ever meet again, and we exchanged maybe 20 minutes of our time. Maybe I will see them again. I don't know. But I learned about their children and their house and where they moved from. And I learned about what they're doing and some of the challenges they have. And so that felt worthwhile. That felt good, And if any of my neighbors ever needed me for anything, I would roll up my sleeves and I would be there. And I would really deeply hope that if the reverse was true, they would be there for me. So, I think that's really important. Let me have a see what's going on. So I won't read the whole question just because I want to protect people's privacy. But Beverly, it's challenging, when our children make decisions, when our children maybe choose partners that we find challenging, or we disagree with some of the things that they're doing, then, it's hard. It's hard. We have our own values and our own beliefs. I've had to learn this lesson myself, as you know, Beverly. When our kids make decisions and we're looking and we're going, I have been around a long time, and I'm looking at this, and there are things that I see because I've been on this earthly plane a longer time than maybe my kids see. And so I go, gosh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then I have to come back to myself and go, it's none of my business. As much as I disagree, as much as I wish it was different, as much as I want to encourage them to do something else, that's none of my business. And I have to step back as a mum and go, this is not a choice I would wish my child took, but they're taking this decision themselves. My job is to stand and go, okay. And then if my child needs me, and I'm talking adult kids here, then I go, I'm always here, trying not to judge if I can, trying not to judge if I can. So it's important. You love your daughter. You love your daughter. That's got to be the guiding light. I love my daughter. I might not love the choice they're making, but I love my daughter. And therefore, because I love my daughter, I'm going to do my very best to be respectful if I can't be happy, to be respectful and to be kind, and to know that no matter what, I am going to be there for my child. I'm going to be there. That's what I'm going to do, because that's really important. It's just really, really important. And so that is what we need to do. We need to be willing. We need to just be willing. And remember that we love them deeply. And that's the most important thing. Hey, Linny, nice to see you, darling. It's good to see you. I hope you are well in your part of the world. So yeah, difficult, but again, remind yourself, I love my daughter. I love her. And that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing. And how am I going to manage my own values around this? How am I going to be respectful? Even if I disagree with it, I find it hard. Then it's just really, really important, It's really important and challenging. So my darlings, if you have any questions, pop them into the comments for me right now. This is our regular Thursday chat. The purpose of this, and hopefully in time, what will happen is we will have more people join us, and there'll be lots of questions, and that'll be really helpful for hopefully people who come. For my regulars, of course, it's always lovely to chat and always lovely to see you all. And I'm here to answer your questions, of course, as well. I am in the process right now of moving my focus from other social media to YouTube. It's been a learning curve. It's been challenging. I think I'm getting the hang of it. Like I said, I spent all of yesterday going, oh no, it's been 3 or 4 months of rewriting and some of it refilming and publishing, and then noticing I haven't got this right, not for YouTube. So yesterday discovering that, gosh, I'm going to have to start again. So I'm starting again. My After the Affair series is really doing well and is really being well received, and that is fantastic. Unfortunately, I need to refilm the Heartbreak to Healing series and rewrite it, including rewriting it. So I'm in the process of starting that, and that's challenging. But I will get on with it because there's no good crying about it, is there, girls? So my channel, I will have, ultimately, I'm going to have a bunch of playlists with different topics. Currently it's affairs and when long-term relationship ends. I'm also going to be doing a series on being a single mama. I'm also going to do a series on transition of midlife and all the things that midlife brings, being a sandwich mama, maybe having kids and having aging parents, menopause, and all those kinds of things. And I will also have a more personal playlist. It's going to be about my life and about my garden, about my poems, and about all the things that bring me friggin' joy. So I'll be sharing that with you as well. So that's going to be coming up. It's really, really helpful for me if you can give me a thumbs up, if you can comment, if you can share my stuff. That makes a huge difference. That tells YouTube, hey, this person's stuff people enjoy, and so that helps me reach more people. So if you ever see any of my stuff, sharing it with anybody, putting it on your socials, emailing a link to someone, recommending me to someone, really is an amazing way that you can help me out, and I really sincerely appreciate. I put a lot of work into this channel. It has really been a 40-hour-a-week job since March, on top of my regular stuff that I'm doing, and so it's a lot of time and energy, and so I really want to deliver to people really useful, helpful, scientifically research-based information that you can use to help you through some of the darkest times of your life. So please do help me share that. I would appreciate it enormously. Linny, thanks for what you just said. Going through some tough times with my adult son. And yeah, I think when we think of relationships, we think of our life partners, but there's a bit of an epidemic. I hate to use that word, but I do believe it. I think there's a bit of an epidemic of our adult kids. I'm talking kids in their late 20s, 30s, 40s, kids who are really ticked off with their parents and are telling us we have failed them, we are not good enough, not worthy enough, that we have messed up, that we need to do better. And I think we did the best job we could. I don't know a parent anywhere in the world who turns up daily and says, I'm going to do a shit job at this parenting gig today. Our parents did the best job they can do, I believe. I came from a very traumatic family. There was lots of trauma, massive amounts of attachment, disorganization, and I still believe my parents did the best job they could. My parents did not have the skill set they needed. My parents came from an age and a time when parenting was really different. And they then hit the 60s and were like, get rid of the shackles and chains. And boy, did they get rid of the shackles and chains. And we grow up with their teachings to help us parent our children. And our children are growing up with social media and the internet, which diagnoses everything. Everything is diagnosed and labeled and judged harshly. Compassion is a really cheap thing. Everybody can be compassionate, empathetic, and kind. Everybody can try and understand that, people are trying their hardest and doing their best. I mean, there's some assholes, you know what I mean? There are, it's true. But generally speaking, most people are kind and compassionate and give a shit. So I think it's just we are in an epidemic of blaming and lack of personal responsibility. And that's sad. I think that's really sad. And there's a price to pay for that. And we're seeing that in our young people. And that's really unfortunate. So for us, we hold strong. Linny, we hold strong. We hold strong and we remind ourselves that we just keep showing up. We forgive, we move forward, we are boundaried, and we show up. And that's important. That's really important. It really, really is. And it's hard. And I may be doing something on estrangement down the track. Again, I have to chew off what I can chew. But I'm also hoping that down the track, when we know that maybe the channel has more people coming on a regular basis, that I will be able to ask people, do you want me to do a series on this topic? Do you want some help on this particular situation? And then I can map out other things that I can do for the channel. So I'm always ears. My loves, I'm always ears. Full of ears. All right, so we're going to start to wrap up. So if anybody has any questions they want to ask me, please pop them into the comments right now. Like I said, please help me out by sharing. The lives, not so much, because the lives are really more of a meandering stroll with me and probably wouldn't be as helpful to somebody who doesn't know my channel or what I do. But sharing the videos that I put out, like I said, every single Tuesday morning, every Friday morning, I put out my long form videos, and then every single day there are short ones, and on Sunday my poetry, which again is something that comes from my absolute heart. It's still really relevant. I talk about love and loss and relationships, my kids, my partner, my life, the challenges of being a traumatized woman with attachment issues as an adult. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and sharing those and liking those, again, really helps me out. I am trying very hard to reach my goal, which is, and I've reached goal number one, which was, well, two goals actually. There'll be two goals. Goal number one, which was getting more than 1,000 people signed up to my channel. I have 1,600 and something, although my subscribers have slowed down. And my next goal was to get to 4,000 watch hours. I am very proud to say my first goal was 3,000 watch hours, which I did reach. And now I think I'm about 600 watch hours away from the 4,000. So if you ever feel like sitting down and listening to my playlists, the latest ones after the affair, and that one has a lot of affair videos in it. The Heartbreak to Healing one, of course, which I'm just going to tell you I'm in the process of refilming and starting again. But I'm going to do that one again. There's lots of shorts there, old ones, because my channel's been around a long time, even though I haven't actively been working on YouTube, and I've just moved to YouTube now. So it helps me out enormously. People who sit with a playlist, if you send a playlist to somebody, that's really helpful because they get to see video after video after video, which is really, really helpful for me and my channel. I just got to push through and get through the last 500 hours. It seems like such a lot when you say it. 500 hours of watch time. So if you ever feel like you are just at a loss and you don't know what to do, pop one of my playlists on and listen. It really makes a difference to those watch hours, and I sincerely hope that this year, before the end of this year, I might just get all those watch hours, and then I can really move things in a very, I have a plan for my channel in a very different direction. I have a plan for a membership on this platform. We will have my store with lots and lots and lots more products in there for you to go and pick up. Members, please don't do that. You get it all in the membership. I'm going to have the self-soothing classes that Kathy does. They will be on offer here on YouTube. I will be offering a 1-month incubator for people that comes up where they can join me and Kathy for a month of more intensive support if they need it. So those are things that are coming to the channel. So I'm really looking forward to that, but I've got to get this other stuff done first, and my series, my 2 flag series, really done and polished and really working well, and then I can move on to the other things that I want to do, which I'm looking forward to. I know that in 2026 my work life will change, and I am ready for that. I am really ready. I've been wrestling with it quite a bit this year and wondering how I can provide support and a platform and a community for women. I think now more than ever before, and I think I've said this over the years, I'd say it now more than ever before, but really truly in this year 2025, now more than ever before, we need community, we need support, we need people from all walks of life to be in our stratosphere. We need to have empathy and compassion and kindness and love of ourselves and love of others. And more than at any time in my life, this is a time for that. And I want to be able to provide that on this platform, on this channel. And my sincere hope is that will happen. I'm working so hard to try and make that happen. And there's a leap of faith here too. I don't know if it will happen, but I am trusting in the process and just keeping on doing things without evidence, which is wild, isn't it? When you think about it, it's just trusting and going, I'm going to do it, and I have to trust that this is the right path. It's a bit scary. I'm not going to lie. It is a bit scary, but hey, there is no growth without discomfort. There's just not. And, growing is important. That's a part of what I talk to people about. So I need to embody that, in my opinion. Okay, if anybody has any comments, any questions, anything they would like to say to me, please do go ahead and do it now. Please do make sure and hit the like button. Please do comment, share, all the things. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. You'll be told every single thing that's coming up on my channel in the coming weeks. I think that's a wrap. I think that's me for today. But like I said, if anybody has any comments or any questions, I will take them now. I tried to put in a pinned comment before I started, and for some strange reason, the comment is there, but it just did not. It just didn't go up, which is really strange, and I don't know why. And maybe it's, I know why. It's too long. That's why. So again, guess who's learning as she goes? Me, I'm learning as I go. I am learning as I go. And what I just learned was you can only have a certain amount of characters, as is always the case. So what I should have done was done that. Now I know what I'm doing wrong. Ah, goodness. Thank goodness. I sat here the whole time going, why is that not working? I'm sure I should be able to do a little comment. Well, I can do a comment. Of course I can do a comment. I'm a sausage is what I am. I just have to make it smaller. Don't you love that, learning as you go? Goodness gracious. And nobody tells you, hey, you have to do it in like 10 different ways. Let me see if this will work. So I was going to do a welcome in the pinned comment. I didn't know how to do it. Now it's done it. Look, there you are. Gosh, sometimes, girls, I scratch my head and go, Debbie, seriously. So now I just learned something new. See, every single time I do this stuff, I learn something new. So there's my two playlists, Heartbreak to Healing and After the Affair. I was supposed to put those at the top, but I couldn't do it. That's all right. I give myself grace. As I hope you give me grace too, as I learn and I learn and I learn how to do these things. All right, my darlings, today is going to be a writing day for me. I might get some filming done today, depending on how much I get done. I am going to be rewriting the Heartbreak to Healing series, which is, how to move through the painfulness of a long-term relationship ending and how to get back to yourself and move forward, letting go and moving forward with grace. So I'm working on that right now. Yeah, every day is a school day. And here's Beverly. We'll be listening this evening. Yeah, no problem at all. Yeah, for my members, I will be live tomorrow morning. So come and join me in the Zoom room. I am really looking forward to seeing you all and chatting with you all. I hope for those of you who did see my garden video that you enjoyed it. It was a big garden, lots and lots and lots of things in the garden as spring has woken things up dramatically. We have a lot of food in the garden, a lot of flowers, a lot of joy. My sunflowers are beginning to really grow now, and so I will have so many sunflowers, lilacs and mauves and reds and yellows and lemonades, so many beautiful sunflowers. Something that my street really enjoys, which I do every year, is to fill my 63-meter front yard with sunflowers. So we will get into that and bring some joy, which is nice. To members, I'll see you all tomorrow. And to everybody else, take the best care of yourself. If you've come across my channel and you're like, what the heck is this? You're always welcome to hit me up in the comments of any of my videos. I read them all. I love to see your feedback on anything that I've done. If you have a question about anything that I've talked about, then please do pop them in the comments, and I will answer as many of them as I can. All right, my loves, take the best care of yourself. Have a gorgeous, 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 gorgeous day, and I will see you all really soon. Bye, everyone. I didn't do that right, did I? I pressed the wrong button. One of these days I'll get it mastered. You wait and see. Not today, though.